Welcome to the Lectitio Divinatus and this week's lore video. The tragedy of the Eldar. The Eldar once ruled the galaxy. Not a region, not an era, the entire galaxy. They were so advanced, so powerful, that reality itself bent to their will. And then, through excess, arrogance, and psychic indulgence, they accidentally created a chaos god. This is the story of the Eldar, a species that reached perfection and couldn't survive. History, rise, decadence, and the fall. Long before the Imperium of Man, the Eldar were already ancient. They were immortal by comparison, immensely psychic, and technologically unmatched. They built living cities, controlled star systems, and traveled through the Webway, a hidden dimension that bypassed the warp entirely. For millions of years, they had no real enemies. And that was the beginning of the end. With nothing left to struggle against, Eldar society turned inward. Pleasure replaced purpose. Sensation replaced meaning. Every excess they indulged in echoed into the warp. Until one moment, one psychic scream, changed the galaxy forever. The Eldar's collective decadence birthed Slaanesh, the chaos god of excess. Reality tore open. The Eye of Terror was born. In an instant, over 99% of the Eldar species died, their souls devoured. Their empire ended in a heartbeat. The Great Split, Eldar and Dark Eldar. When the Eldar Empire collapsed, it did not die quietly. It shattered. The survivors of the fall did not all choose the same path. Some looked at the destruction they had caused and chose restraint. Others looked at it and chose indulgence. This is where the Eldar truly split. The Craftworld Eldar believed excess had doomed them. Emotion had become a weapon pointed at their own souls, so they imposed control, discipline, the path system, spiritual austerity, every feeling restrained, every desire examined, every life focused on survival at any cost. The Dark Eldar, those who would become the Drukhari, made a different choice. They did not flee excess, they refined it. Hiding deep within the Webway city of Komara, they learned a terrible truth. Slaanesh fed on Eldar souls, but suffering could delay that hunger. Pain, fear, agony inflicted on others. By feeding Slaanesh through cruelty, the Dark Eldar could stave off their own damnation. So they became predators, raiders, slavers, torturers beyond human comprehension, not for pleasure alone, but for survival. To the Craftworld Eldar, the Dark Eldar are abominations, living proof of everything that went wrong. To the Dark Eldar, the Craftworlders are fools, starving themselves emotionally, clinging to guilt and ritual. Both are right, both are damned. One side chose control, the other chose cruelty, and neither choice offers salvation. Society, life after apocalypse. The Eldar who survived the birth of Slaanesh did so by absence. Some were aboard massive craft worlds, continent-sized starships meant for exploration, now turned into roaming nations of refugees. The craft worlds. The craft worlds are not just ships. They are entire civilizations in exile. Each craft world is a drifting world of wraithbone and psychic architecture, carrying the last remnants of a once galactic empire. Cities, temples, gardens, training halls, all sealed inside a starship the size of a continent. And yet, despite their beauty, Craftworld life is defined by fear. Not fear of war, not fear of enemies, but fear of the self. Every Eldar knows the truth of their species. They know that unrestrained emotion gave birth to Slaanesh. They know that obsession leads to damnation. And so Eldar society is built around control. This is why the path system exists. An Eldar chooses a path, warrior, artisan, seer, healer, leader, and devotes themselves to it completely. mind, body, and soul. For a time, they are nothing else. When the path ends, they move on. Or at least, they are supposed to. Some never leave. Those trapped on the path of the warrior become exarchs, eternal soldiers, unable to abandon the mindset of battle. They are revered and pitied, because to lose oneself to obsession is to echo the sins of the past. Craftworld society is quiet. There is no hunger, no poverty, no mass industry. Most labor is done by psychic constructs and automatons. Eldar do not toil, they contemplate. Art is not decoration, it is meditation. Combat training is not preparation for glory, it is spiritual discipline. Even leisure is structured, deliberate, and restrained. To an outsider, Craftworld life looks sterile. To an Eldar, it is the only thing keeping them alive. Death, too, is different. When an Eldar dies, their soul stone draws in their spirit, saving it from Slaanesh. That soul is then placed within the Infinity Circuit, a vast psychic matrix running through the Craftworld itself. The dead do not rest. They advise that they remember. They judge. Every Craftworld is guided by the voices of millions who remember the fall firsthand. It is impossible to forget when your ancestors whisper from the walls. Craftworld Eldar are not unified in philosophy. Some Craftworlds are deeply militant, believing war is unavoidable. Others are prophetic, obsessed with divination and fate. Some seek isolation. Others intervene constantly in galactic affairs. But all share the same truth. They are a dying people. Children are rare. Losses are permanent, and every decision is weighed against extinction. To live on a Craftworld is to exist in contradiction. You are surrounded by beauty, yet haunted by annihilation. You wield technology that borders on the divine, yet fear your own emotions. You remember ruling the stars while drifting through them as a refugee. The Craftworlds are monuments to survival, not victory, not hope. Survival. Technology, art, thought, and soul. Eldar technology is not industrial. It is psychic. Their weapons respond to thought. Their ships feel alive. Their armor moves like a second skin. Most important of all are soul stones. Every Eldar carries one. When they die, their soul is drawn into the stone instead of being consumed by Slaanesh. Those souls are later placed within the Craftworld's Infinity Circuit, a psychic network of the dead guiding the living. Even in death, Eldar do not escape responsibility. Gods, what remains of the Pantheon. Once the Eldar had many gods, war gods, trickster gods, creators and destroyers. Most were slain or devoured during the birth of Slaanesh. Only fragments remain, myths, echoes, and the ever-present shadow of the god they created. Slaanesh is not just an enemy. It is their original sin. Harlequins, the laughing god's players. While most of the Eldar gods were devoured when Slaanesh was born, one escaped. Segurak, the laughing god, and his followers are the Harlequins. The Harlequins are not tied to any Craftworld. They move freely through the Webway, appearing anywhere, at any time for reasons known only to themselves. To outsiders, they look like jesters, acrobats, performers dressed in riotous color. That is a mistake. Harlequins are among the deadliest warriors the Eldar possess. They fight with blinding speed, impossible agility, and total unpredictability. But they are more than killers. They are historians. Harlequins preserve the true story of the Eldar, their rise, their fall, and the horror of Slaanesh through ritual performance. Every battle is a dance. Every massacre is a reenactment of cosmic tragedy. They serve Kegorak by ensuring the Eldar never forget what they were, and never repeat the same mistake. And in a galaxy drowning in despair, the Harlequins laugh. Not because it's funny, but because laughter is the only defiance Slaanesh does not fully understand. Great Eldar, the Seers. Eldar heroes are not conquerors. They are farcers, psychic prophets who glimpse the future. Not one future, thousands. Most end in disaster. So Eldar leaders do not ask, how do we win? They ask, which future kills us last? Entire wars are fought to prevent a single death. Entire planets sacrificed to save a Craftworld centuries from now. To others, it looks cruel. To the Eldar, it is survival math. Warfare, the Eldar way of war. The Eldar do not wage wars of conquest. They strike only when necessary. And they strike perfectly. A single attack, a single objective. Then they vanish. To human generals, Eldar warfare looks cowardly. In truth, it is desperation refined into doctrine. Every Eldar life lost is irreplaceable. Every battle is a calculated risk against extinction. A dying species with perfect memory. The Eldar remember everything. They remember ruling the stars. They remember gods walking beside them. They remember the exact moment it all ended. They are arrogant because they were once right to be. They are cold because emotion nearly destroyed them. They are tragic because they know there is no true victory left. The Eldar do not fight for the galaxy. They fight to delay the end. And in a universe that has forgotten mercy, that might be the cruelest fate of all. And when the galaxy goes silent, the Harlequins will still be laughing, telling the story of how the Eldar fell. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more lore videos from the 40k universe.